Yesterday, we started out investigating immigration, and we learned that immigration is the act of moving to a different country permanently to live there. We also talked about how an immigrant is a person who chooses willingly to go to a new country to live. And we talked about how, in order to be an immigrant, you have to move countries, not states, not neighborhoods, and not cities. To immigrate, you must leave an entire country with a completely separate government, with a completely separate money system, a lot of times, with a completely separate way of living, and come to a new country. Okay, so it's not just moving across the street or moving downtown, it's moving a whole entire country. Okay. Today, you are going to get to meet some young student immigrants who are around your ages. And you are going to compare and contrast the differences and the similarities between your life and theirs. We have a lesson from Miss Renee today. And as always, we're going to start off with reviewing our success criteria of what is expected from you today. So you know that we are working on comparing and contrasting, and we're going to look at the most important points in two texts on the same topic. Today, we're going to build some knowledge with the vocabulary. So you're working at that level 2 of understanding the words, details, hopefully you know that by now, compare, contrast, similar, and different. Let's take a look at some vocabulary that you'll need to know as a quick review.
We have been learning about the topic of community. We have learned about types of communities, discussed communities we belong to, and did some writing about the best type of community to live in. If you look around our community, you will see that there are lots of different kinds of people. Today, we're going to talk about this idea about how a community is made up of different kinds of people who live together and work together. Sometimes people in our community move to the United States from another place. Let's get started with our conversation today. Hey, third grade, this is Mrs. Renelay. Today we're going to talk about the skill of compare and contrast. Today we're focused on level 2 so that we can understand important words like compare, contrast, similar, and different. Let's practice. Look at this photo. Let's compare the two items. Some similarities are they are both fruit, they are both round, I can hold them in my hand, and they taste sweet. Now let's contrast the two items. Let's identify things that are different. Apple is green. The orange is the color orange. The orange has a leaf attached. The apple does not. Today we're going to use this skill of compare and contrast to find some similarities and differences between ourselves and a new friend we're going to meet on a website. Today, we are going to look at this website. We're going to meet some young immigrants. These are all kids that have moved to the United States. Today, you're going to explore by clicking on their names, looking at a map of the country from which they've come, watch a video to hear the student talking, and look at pictures. Make sure you click through to read all that the student wrote. Today, I've chosen this girl. I notice where she's from, I'm predicting that she likes to go to the beach and play in the sand. And I notice that she's in 3rd grade. I'm going to read what she wrote and get to know her today. Hi, my name is Asaya. I was born in Nikolov, Ukraine, but I have lived most of my life in a suburban town near Atlanta, Georgia. I moved to the United States with my parents when I was a baby. I am now in the 3rd grade and speak both English and Russian. My brother Tim is in the 1st grade. I also have a cat named Tiger and a pet water frog named Perry. When I grow up, I want to be a paleontologist, an artist, and an ice skater. Today, I'm going to think about compare and contrast. I'm going to find some similarities between myself and my new friend. Then I'm going to contrast. I'm going to think about what is different between myself and my friend. I'm looking at what she shared. I notice that she says, I have lived most of my life in a suburban town. When I compare myself to her, that's something I have in common with her. That's a similarity because I also grew up in a suburban town. On my seesaw task, I can show a way that we are the same. We both grew up in a suburban town. Now I'm going to contrast and look for a way that we are different from each other. I remember that she says she can speak both English and Russian languages. I do speak English, but I don't speak any Russian. I'm learning some Spanish, so that's something that's different about us. On my seesaw task, I can show the differences. I speak English and Spanish. My new friend, she speaks English and Russian. This is your job today, 3rd grade. Enjoy exploring these young immigrants and comparing and contrasting.
All right, so you just got a sneak peek of what you are going to complete on Seesaw today, where you are actually going to compare and contrast young immigrants. Mrs. Renelay's example is here, and she did not complete the entire chart. You are going to find more than one similarity and difference. I'm going to ask that you find 2 similarities, so 2 ways that you are the same as a young immigrant, and 2 ways that you are different from the young immigrant. So on Seesaw, in your activities, you have an assignment that will be released to you in a few moments called Meet Young Immigrants. It says watch the teaching video. We've done that. Go to the Meet Young Immigrants website on slide 1. So when I add my response, on slide 1, I'm going to see a link to the website. This is the website that I told you was an option yesterday, so you may be familiar with it. When you go to this website, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different students. Asaya is from the Ukraine. Taylor is from South Korea. Vandi is from Sierra Leone. Sadhana is from India. And Gabriela is from Mexico. You're going to choose one student, just one, that you would like to complete your work on. You are more than welcome to learn about more than one student, but you're going to choose one student to compare and contrast yourself with. As Mrs. Renelay showed, there is a text that the student has written. There is a map showing where they are from. There is a video of an interview, and there are photographs of them as well. So you are going to look at these young immigrants, and you are going to find one immigrant that you would like to compare and contrast yourself with. On slide 2, your directions say, compare your new friend with a similarity. And again, I'm going to ask that we try for 2. Contrast your new friend with a difference. Reflect on your understanding on slide 3. So I am going to ask that you find 2 similarities and you find 2 ways that you and the person that you choose are different from each other. On slide 3, you're going to tell me if you feel successful with today's vocabulary by moving the star to feeling successful or not feeling successful. You will also...
Did you feel successful with today's vocabulary? Drag the star next to the statement that describes you.
So again, you'll drag that star and your vocabulary that you are focusing on is here. Details, compare, contrast, similar, and different. So this is going to be an independent exploration time today because you have a lot of choices to make. Who would you like to focus on? And how are you the same? What similarities do you have? And how are you different? What differences do you have between yourself and this young immigrant? What questions can I answer about your assignment today? What questions can I answer about what you are getting ready to do? Levin.
I brought the assignment, but I have to go. I have to go right now because I gotta spend the day with my dad today.
Okay. So remember, you'll have to make up for these activities during your time at some point, okay? They'll be on your seesaw. All right, see ya. Any other questions about what you are getting ready to do during your work time? Terrence.
I didn't have a question. I was stretching.
Okay. All right. So this assignment is released to you at 9:10, so it should be popping up on your seesaw shortly. Again, this is going to be your independent work for the day.